Jason, we will start answering out at 10:30. It is right now
Okay,
10:29.
10:29.
We'll wait one more minute.
Okay, sure.
And the number of people, not many, right? It's only
It's
how many
only
are you?
5.
About 8. Yeah.
4.
So a few minutes and then we'll start.
Okay, sir.
I think we can start now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So good morning to all of you. The main purpose of this meeting is to answer any questions you have about all the lectures that you have gone through so far. So the first question is about exam, okay? So let me tell you that the final exam is multiple choice, okay? And if you have done all the assignments, the exam should be fairly simple, okay? Especially if you saw after the first few assignments, the assignments are also multiple choice. So you have a fairly good idea of the kind of questions that will come in the final exam, okay? So if you have done the assignments on your own and then later on check what were the right answers and you corrected any misunderstanding, then the final exam should be very easy.
Your voice is not audible, sir.
I think there seems to be a network interruption. Just give us 2 minutes. Okay. Meanwhile,
Okay.
others can put.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the final exam, most questions will be qualitative. Some will be numerical, but they will not be ones in which you have to solve any equation. You will be asked questions about some standard quantities you should know about, okay? For example, you should know how much radiation is coming into Earth. That's a very standard question that will be asked by anyone. If you have gone through a course in climate change science, somebody will ask you how much radiation is coming on Earth on an average. So that kind of question will be there. And if you have gone through all the lectures and the assignment, it should be fairly simple, okay? Since there is multiple choice, remember, you don't have to know the exact number. You will get 4 choices. 3 will be observed, 1 will be right. So all of you should have common sense to pick the right answer, okay? So the numerical questions are those about some quantity you should be aware of. For example, what is Earth's albedo? You should know that. If you have gone through this course and you go to some interview and they ask you what is the average albedo of the Earth, you should know it. Okay. So such questions will be asked, very simple questions, and exact numerical value is not required because you got 4 options, out of which 3 are observed and 1 is correct. Now, somebody said numericals were tough. Now, I want to understand what was tough, the solution method, or can you clarify, Nirmal, what do you mean by tough? Akhilesh, can you switch on your mic and discuss what is your problem with the numericals?
You may unmute and speak. That's okay. You don't have to type.
Akhilesh, can you unmute and talk about what is your problem in the numericals?
I believe that few queries regarding the steps. Most of you seem
Akhilesh, yes. Can you unmute and talk about your problem? Or you can write something in the chat box, one of the two. Tejas, you had some discussion with the students about the assignment, right?
I want to highlight few that were made in the questions.
Ah.
1 and 2. We have
Can't hear you.
uploaded the sample answers for assignment 1 and 2 on Drive. I think that link is not shared with everyone. I'm sharing it on the discussion forum here. So
Tejas,
common mistake
you're not-
that was
I don't know what the problem is. You're not.
okay. I think change to my phone network. Just give me a minute.
Oh. Or can you put something in the chat box to clarify? Yeah, Akhilesh, we're waiting to hear from you. Please unmute. So let me explain. In one of the problems which involves multiple solution, in one case, you have to do iteration. Now, this, I assume, most of you would have learned how to do it. If not, it's a matter of guessing. You guess one question, one number, that's a temperature. Find the albedo. From the energy equation, find the temperature. If it doesn't agree, take the new value and repeat a few times, it will converge. Okay. Now, as regards the first assignment, I don't know whether any makeup is possible. Let's say Tejas is still not back. So Ramdas, I don't think you should worry too much about it. There are so many assignments. If you didn't do one assignment, it's not going to hurt you, okay? If you look at the weightage, assignment carries only 30% weightage. As long as you do all the other assignments, the fact that you didn't do the first one is not critical. But for the sake of the final exam, I would suggest you submit assignment to either Tejas or Nitya and let them look and make sure that you've done it correctly. Okay. But I don't think at this point we can give weightage for the assignment. But
Sure, I
am I
understand.
right?
Thank you.
Tejas?
Okay, sir, I understand. I'll complete it and send it to
Yeah.
Tejas.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
can
very
do that.
much. Yeah.
But don't worry too much about it. Look at the
Okay.
system they adopted. They are going to fairly
Sure.
low weightage assignment and the highest weightage is for the final exam.
Sure.
So
Okay.
if you
Thank you.
into the first time, do it now, send it. Tejas and Nitya will look through it. If you have any question, they will clarify it. So you can do well in the exam. That's very important. Exam is 70% weightage. And if you have not done the assignment, then the final exam will not be easy. But let me remind you again, the final exam is much simpler than the assignment. In the assignment, you have to solve equation. In the final exam, there is no question in which you actually solve equations. We are testing your overall comprehension, that is, whether you have understood what you have been taught, not your ability to solve equations. Okay. So what was given the first, second assignment was a little difficult for you, but we are not testing you on that. Okay. But it's good for you to know how to solve a problem. It's a skill all of you should have wherever you go in your career. But as far as this course is concerned, the final exam being multiple choice should be fairly simple if you have basically understood
Am I audible?
the
Sorry, sir,
basics of the
just-
course and done all the assignments which are multiple choice. Okay?
Sorry, sir, there seems to be some network interruptions here. I was not told
Oh,
during.
8 out of 12 assignments, yeah. Nitya has given a clarification. Only 8 out of the 12 assignments are used for evaluation. If you have missed one assignment, it doesn't matter. Out of your 12 you have submitted, only 8 will count. If you didn't submit one, that's okay. Is that clear? What is the notes? Sir can provide note. What does note mean here?
Okay, they mean lecture notes.
Oh, mean lecture notes, yeah.
Yeah.
What's happened to them? They are supposed to provide, right?
No, the transcripts are underway. So
Oh.
it's the lecture notes will be generated based on the transcripts.
Right.
So as this is the first run, they're still underway.
No, but will they get it before the final exam? That's very important.
That I have to cross check with the
Please
team.
check, please check. That's very important as far as I'm concerned. If they cannot do this before the final exam, then there's a problem.
Okay. Can we share the lecture slides directly? I'll upload it to a Google folder and share the
Yeah,
slides.
you can do that. Yeah. That is, I mean the transcripts or what you're talking about?
No. The lecture slides, the slides that were used for lecture.
Yeah, that you can upload. I told already. That's nothing secret about that. You can upload
Okay.
it. But if they want some clarification because they didn't quite understand the lecture, then a transcript is very useful.
No, again, I've been asking them to ask questions on the discussion forum, but there seems to be no questions on the discussion forum recently.
Oh,
The number of questions have gone down significantly. So with respect to assignment 1 and 2, there seems to be few confusion regarding few concepts,
okay.
particularly regarding absorptivity, reflectivity, and transmissivity.
Okay.
So when the equations are framed, I request you all to look that the sum of the values of absorptivity, reflectivity, and transmissivity sums up to 1. Because many of you, while formulating the equation, that statement seems to be violated in most of the questions. And there is another observation, general observation regarding the Kirchhoff laws. There is a general remark that everyone is making regarding emissivity being equal to absorptivity. I think in the lectures it was made very clear. It is directional spectral reflectivity, emissivity being equal to directional spectral absorptivity. That point was not clearly brought out in the answers in most of the assignment. So the marks were deducted there for that particular question. And
Yeah, Tejas, that's a very important point. I want to repeat that. If you go through the scores, the most important thing for you to understand is how to apply Kirchhoff's law. Because there are many books where mistakes are made. Okay? They will say total hemispherical emissivity equals total hemispherical absorptivity, which is not true. Okay? Because there's a large variation of properties from visible to infrared. You cannot make the assumption, but many books do that and cause confusion. So if you're not clear, please go back, go through it again. And if you are still not clear, you can send queries to Tejas or Nitya to have a little discussion so that in your mind it's clear that only the directional spectral value are equal. That's what Kirchhoff said. He didn't say anything about average values. Average values depends on the situation. Okay. So this is a very important point in this course, which is not there in many textbooks, except the one we are using in this course. So please be clear about that. That's a very important point. So if Tejas has found that in assignment 1, people were confused, I want you to again look at that again and get clarified. So what I would suggest is there's at least lecture 1, 2, 3, the transcripts are available, right?
We have prepared. I can directly share that Word file in a folder.
Yeah. So just put it up so that people can go through it again, so that if they miss something in the spoken word, it comes out clearly in the written part.
Yes, ma'am.
That lecture material already uploaded up to 9th week from NPTEL office side.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
It's already uploaded.
Up to 9th lecture, is it?
9th week, 9th week.
9th week. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, where is it accessible from?
You can access in the course dashboard only. There's
Dashboard.
one
Okay.
module created. In that it is there.
Okay. I hope that's clear to everyone. I'll also broadcast a message on the discussion forum.
Everybody should know it. That's very important. That you also send it to me. I'll also check how it looks.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. I'll also because to me, written transcripts is very important in a country like India where English is not the first language. It's important to have transcripts, and people can go through it in leisure to understand what is said.
Okay. So another important remark from assignment 1 is that regarding the difference between emissive power and intensity.
Yeah.
The one that is independent of direction is intensity, not emissive power. Most of you seem to have confused because of the term in the equation. In the answer, emissive power is mentioned to be independent of the angle of observation, which it is not. Even in an ideal scenario, for an ideal body at least, intensity is the one which will be independent of the direction of observation and not emissive power.
It is a good point. I'll repeat it. For a black body also, emissive power depends on direction. Because if you look at any body at an angle 90 degrees from normal, you will not get any emission, right? That's common sense. So all of you must understand, take a book and hold it in front of your eye. Any emission in the direction parallel to the book will not come to you, okay? So there are no molecules in the direction. Only when you tilt the book, you will see some radiation. So this is common sense. All of you should understand that, okay?
Okay, and those were the main observations from assignment 1. Regarding assignment 2, there seems to be quite a bit of confusion regarding the effective the parameter f that is used for effective emissivity of the earth. It's a right it's a confusing term. The parameter f is not exactly emissivity of the earth, but it is a parameter which would give us an equivalent temperature at which the earth would be emitting. we have the incoming shortwave energy. So we have the outgoing long wave radiation. So corresponding to that, what would be the effective emissivity parameter is what F would correspond to. But when we talk about the emissivity of the atmosphere, that is not equivalent or that is not the same as F. This is clarified in the lectures.
Yeah.
The relation
Yeah,
between.
but the good point, Tejas, I want to repeat. The word effective emissivity is used by many other books on climate change. It is confusing. In this course, you must remember the so-called effective emissivity depends on emissivity of the atmosphere, albedo, as well as absorptivity of the atmosphere. We have shown that clearly based on Lewis model. Please be clear about that. That what others are calling effective emissivity is somewhat confusing, but since it is there, you must be aware of it. Okay?
Okay, and as this point was raised earlier regarding the radiation that's reaching Earth, there seems to be confusion regarding that as well. So we have the top of the atmosphere radiation, shortwave radiation coming from the sun, close to 1364 watt per meter square. When it is averaged over the entire sphere, we will get S by 4. That quantity would correspond to 341 watt per meter square. So it might change from the literature source.
Yeah, let me repeat that point again. 1364 is the radiation normal to the sun's rays. 340 is average per unit surface area of the Earth, not normal, surface area. That point should be understood by everyone. That 1364 is we put a plate normal to the sun's rays outside the Earth, we'll get 1364. But if you want to know how much radiation arriving per unit surface area of the Earth, you have to take into account 4 pi r squared area of the Earth, okay, compared to pi r squared, which is the cross section, okay.
Right.
So be very clear the difference between the radiation that is coming in on a plate normal to sun rays and Earth is a sphere, so radiation is coming in various direction. So average over the whole sphere is 1/4. Okay. So in a sphere, the cross-sectional area is pi r squared, surface area is 4 pi r squared. So 1/4 comes from there. Okay.
Okay.
Now there's one thing I read in one assignment. There was a question that as age advances, GW gas increases. Yeah. Now, how do you say GWP doesn't decrease? GWP has two components. One, what is the property of the gas, and then how long it lives in the atmosphere, time. Okay. So, if you look at only the next 10 years, you will get a lower value for carbon dioxide or for, let's say, any gas. But if the gas has a long lifetime, as the time goes on increasing, it will have more and more impact. So all GWP will increase in time except carbon dioxide, which by definition is the reference gas. Remember that carbon dioxide is treated as a reference gas. Every gas is compared to carbon dioxide. So for all of the gases, as you go in time, longer time, the impact will be longer if it remains for a long period. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, that was my question. So my question is, almost all the gases as the time passes, their global warming potential will decrease except CO2, HCl, and some of the 2-3 gases. Otherwise, most of the gases will have a decreasing trend. But in our assignment, the answer accepted for it was increase. That was the question.
Tejas, I can't understand. Can you clarify that?
I'm
Sir,
trying
in
to
the
say.
assignment, yeah, the accepted answer was increase.
I got the question, sir. I'm trying to find the exact wording of the question.
Okay.
Could you let me know which assignment was, which week it was?
Probably it was at present, it was 4th or 5th.
Third week, was it?
Not third.
I'm trying to find the exact words because this query was there because let's say for methane, if you go beyond 10 years, the global warming potential will decrease as you change the time horizon. But let's say if you take for long living greenhouse gases, this GWP will increase.
Sir, but we'll have to exploit even up to 400, 500 years. After 500 years, most of the gas will have a decrease global warming potential.
No,
Even in
no.
our lectures also, there was a display in most of the diagrams and even the tables also. There was a clear cut written that it was indicating that the GWP decreased.
Okay, it was in. Okay. So the question was when the residence time of a gas increases,
Yeah.
it's GWP. So we are talking about the residence time. So when we speak
Yes.
of the residence time, it corresponds to their lifetime. So when the
Yes.
lifetime of a gas increases, its GWP will increase. We are not talking about a time horizon period here. We are talking about the residence period of the gas itself.
So that is what I said. The residence means age of the gas in the atmosphere. If increases, then
Correct.
global warming potential will be decreasing.
It will increase.
But sir, in our lecture, so many diagrams and even table also that suggests you decreasing.
No. See, sir, what you are looking at there in that diagram is the lifetime curve of different gases. So the gases lifetime, let's say, if it decreases exponentially over time, what we are saying is that the lifetime period that is mentioned, tau, for a gas,
Okay.
this curve will decrease, will be much slower, which means that relative to a lower residence time, a higher residence time will correspond to a higher GWP. The same goes with CO2 and methane.
Okay.
Let's say the residence time of methane is about 10 years. If we go for carbon dioxide, it has a complex lifetime. It has different lifetimes coming in. So on an average, if we take 100 years, the residence time is higher for carbon dioxide, which means its GWP on that scale, it's going to increase. That's what the question intended.
Tejas, I can see the confusion. Take methane, one gas. If you look at 100-year GWP and 10-year GWP, 100-year it is less than 10-year, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what he's clarifying. That point is right. For a given gas, if it has a short lifetime, then if you take a longer period, it will have less impact. That's what I think he's asking that question. Look at the chat box. He says as the time advances.
Okay, this is okay. What we mentioned is the radiator properties remain the same. So what we are doing is we are just increasing the residence time of that gas.
For a given horizon, yeah. So what he's talking about, a given gas and a higher horizon. That's a different. So make sure that in our question that is clear. Let's look at the assignment again and make sure that the difference between the time horizon and the residence time is clear. Maybe there's some confusion on that.
Okay.
Let's check it again.
The question is when the residence time of a gas increases, GWP,
Yeah.
whether it increases, decreases, or increases or decreases depending on the lifetime.
Yeah, but I think maybe you should say for a given time horizon. You should fix one of them. There are two parameters here, time horizon and residence time, right? So we should have kept one of them constant to avoid confusion.
Okay.
This is the future, it's all right. Future, we will make sure that we'll say for 100-year time horizon, if the residence time increases, what happens? Okay? So that is probably the confusion here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Okay, there is another question on AI being used to combat climate change.
Somebody has asked, can you get a previous year question? This course is offered for the first time. We don't have previous questions. Second, I can tell you, I don't like that approach. All of you have gone through many multiple choice exams, and you look at the previous year question paper and try to do it, that is just memory. You're trying to memorize all the answers and do it. Don't do it that way. What I'm trying to, even if this course is conducted next time, we will not give you the previous year's question paper because that is not the purpose of this kind of course. We are not testing your memory. We are trying to test your understanding, okay? So, so you should be confident that you have understood what is taught in the course. And I can assure you the final exam is very simple. It is not like JEE or GATE or something. It's not like that, where the rank is important. It decides your what branch you get. This is just a course to increase your awareness of climate change. So all the questions are simple. If you have gone through the lectures and the assignments, you will do very well. So no need to get very worried about the exam. Exam is as simple as it can get. Based on the assignments, which you have to go through all the assignments definitely. You will get it. There's no problem. Okay.
So there's a question on AI being used for.
Yeah, I keep getting, whenever I give a talk, I get a lot of questions on AI. Let me tell you that AI is going to become very important in the future. But the problem with AI is it's a black box, okay? And it works when you have a lot of data. Okay? Suppose you have 1,000 years of past climate data, and then an AI tool can look at the complex, large amount of data and make a prediction about the future based just on the amount of data it has. But AI is somewhat limited in climate change situation because we don't have a lot of data. Our data is limited to at the most maximum 100 years of good data. Okay? Based on that, AI tool cannot do very well. AI demands a lot of data. More the data, better it is for AI. Okay? So, since the system we are talking about is complicated, and secondly, remember, we do have a lot of data from climate models. We have simulations of the last 20,000 years of Earth's climate, okay? But I will not trust that result to predict the future because we know climate models have limitations, and I have discussed this in great depth in the course. They are useful, but they're not perfect. But they are models. They make approximation about clouds, which are not that good. So the use of AI to predict the future or to combat climate change is to be somewhat limited. Okay? But AI is evolving. So what I'm saying today may not be valid 10 years from today. But the main power of AI is the ability to handle large amount of data. That is not available for climate change situations. This is not like image processing. Let me tell you that AI works very well for image processing because it has huge amount of data. Okay? And so it can figure out who you are. But in climate change situations, only actual observation is not more than 100 years old. Actual measurements, okay? There are some proxy data, but they are not that accurate. So AI ability to predict future is not that easy. That's not going to be that easy, okay? And all of you have to be careful about AI. It's a black box. So even if AI predicts something, you cannot trust it 100% because AI sometimes gives you solutions which are not valid, okay? So you've got to be careful. Same thing with ChatGPT. Many of you are using ChatGPT. Most of the time it gives correct answer, but it can give you a wrong answer also because it has misunderstood some thing it has looked at in the internet. So remember that one has to treat AI and ChatGPT with great care. They are accurate most of the time, but not all the time. And it is your job as a human being to differentiate between what is the correct answer and what is the wrong answer. That is your job, okay? So be careful, don't get seduced by AI. It's a powerful tool, but it can make mistakes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Am I audible, sir?
yeah,
Sir, I have a few questions. First question is regarding the calculation of the albedo.
yes,
We have one question in the assignment where we were asked that to calculate the albedo, where the 40% cover was the clouds and like the
right,
albedo of clouds was that was told like 0.6 and
yes,
0.15 for albedo of the cloud. When we were calculating, we were multiplying the 0.6 with 0.4 plus 0.15 with 0.
yeah,
Like rest of the
yeah.
1 minus that. So when we are should not it be the other way? Like when we are calculating for the cloud 0.4 into 0.6, it comes out to be 0.24, and like the other light is transmitted from there. One is the 60% part, and another is the this. It sums up to be 0.76. Like should not be the 0.15, that's the albedo of the Earth's surface multiplied by the 0.76 instead of 0.6.
Yes, then, did you understand the question? I didn't understand. Can you clarify?
I got the question. I got the question, sir. So, it's Sheikh, right? Sheikh, then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was like you had a cloud fraction, and that particular cloud had a albedo corresponding to it, and you had the cloud-free region, which is the land region. It was given a particular albedo. So
Right.
the both the cloud region and the non-cloudy region, the land region, they both will receive the same radiation. Assumption that we are. So in that
Right.
amount of radiation that it receives, how much portion is reflected back? So
Right.
whatever total fraction of radiation that I'm going to split that radiation into the cloud-free region and the cloudy region.
Right.
So in the cloudy region, what percent gets reflected back? And in the cloud-free region, what percent will get reflected back? The sum of these two will be the still albedo, the effective albedo of the cloud plus non-cloudy region. So correct method to go ahead with it is for you're supposed to take the cloud fraction, multiply it
It's
with the
not
cloud
audible
albedo.
now.
Is it not audible? Hello.
It's
Maybe
audible.
can you confirm? Okay. So you're supposed to take
This is, I want to ask, the answer to the question has been put up on the website? Somewhere
no,
people
this is
know.
the numerical question, assignment 1 and 2.
Answers are put up, right? After the assignments
No.
are submitted, you don't put up an answer, model answer?
For MCQ, we had put up for assignment 1 and 2, wherein they had given written assignment. For that, it's not shared. The answers are not shared. Model
Why is
answers
that?
are not shared.
Why don't we share it? Because to me,
Yeah.
if a person has got the answer wrong, he should know what the correct answer is, so that he can correct his understanding. So why we are not putting it up?
No, there was an option in the assignment region to put that up. I'll share it on the discussion.
Yeah, please do that, because a person should know what mistake he has made, right?
I think
So
we did
it's good
reply
that the model answer is given, especially 1 and 2, because they are more difficult assignments. The multiple choice is no problem, but in the 1 and 2, it should be clear.
For MCQs, the answers are displayed.
Huh?
For MCQs, the answers are displayed.
So the albedo question, Sheikh Adil must have seen the model answer, right? Sheikh, have you seen the model answer?
No.
No.
I don't think so. It's not shared.
Okay, please do it. So then he
Okay.
can find out, see, he's having some misunderstanding. Let him look at the answer, and if he's still not happy, then we can have an interaction. Okay?
Sir, like in the next slides, next lectures, that was calculated. But what I am saying that like which is the cloud-free region, for that we are multiplying with the albedo of the Earth only, surface only. But
Correct.
when we have some cloudy region. For example, that was given something 40%. And like
Right.
for that, if there is some albedo, that means
Right.
that is reflecting that much part. But the other part that is also transmitting, like towards the Earth's surface.
Right.
Should not we take that radiation also into account to calculate the albedo? That's what I'm saying.
The problem there is that will lead to second order terms. Let's
Yeah.
say you have light being transmitted. I mean, other than that which is being reflected, you have radiation some radiation that gets transmitted to the surface. Let's say all of it in our model that we are considering right now, the LEO model, the radiation that reaches the surface, the shortwave radiation, we are assuming all of it to be absorbed by the Earth's surface, right?
We are assuming that like it's not like the two levels where it is being first reflected, then transmitted, then again reflected.
Okay,
Like
now
you are
let's
saying that in
assume that
model we consider it as a single surface, and like this part is cloudy part and this part is cloud free part. So that's how it's calculated in the model.
So now
I
let's
got it.
assume that even in that radiation, let's say some portion is reflected back. Now it goes and encounters the cloud again. So another portion, let's say if 0.4 is the reflectivity, again, you have to remember that the albedo from when you look from the upper side is different. And when you look at the cloud from the lower side, the albedo would be different. Let's say it has some number, and even that portion will be reflected back to the Earth again. It will be like tertiary reflection. So you will go to second order and third order terms. To avoid that, the effective albedo calculation is terminated for the first order term itself. You take a cloudy region, take its albedo. You take a cloud-free region, take its albedo, and compute the effective albedo for the first order. I mean, up to the first terms.
Tej, I want to add one more point. In this simple problem was just to show how to combine data from cloudy and clear region to get the total albedo, okay? So in the clear region, we have assumed that the albedo that is given is both of the atmosphere and the surface combined. It's all put together, okay?
Yeah.
So in this problem, the clear sky albedo takes reflectivity from the surface as well as atmosphere, okay? In the cloudy region, we assume that the surface reflection doesn't go through the clouds. Okay, that's assumed. When a region is cloud covered, you cannot see the surface, right? We are assuming that. If it's a very thin cloud, yeah, it's possible that some go through, but normally the clouds are thick. So when a region is cloudy, we are only seeing from the top of the atmosphere, only seeing reflection by cloud, not the surface. But in the clear region, the radiation coming on the top is both scattering by the atmosphere as well as the surface. All combined, that data is given. Now, other thing I want to point out, you are talking about series reflection. There's a formula given in the course for multiple reflection. There is one slide. I don't know whether you remember it. I've given it specifically. I've shown that what we, in a clear region, what we calculate as the clear sky albedo is due to multiple reflections, and again a formula for that. How it depends on surface reflection, transmission, and atmospheric reflectivity. So I would suggest that they should go back and look at that slide. If you remember it, you can even put it up again so that people have. If you remember that slide, there's a separate slide I've given only for that. How to calculate the planetary albedo from surface albedo. Do you remember that slide?
It was in week 12, I believe.
Series of reflections are put, and then how you calculate the total albedo, multiple reflection. So if the student has forgotten that, we can take the slide and put it up again
Share the slide.
for their, okay?
Okay, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else has any other questions?
Sir, I have one more confusion.
Sure.
But that was not taught, but I have this confusion going on. Like, what will be the effect of the deforestation or afforestation on this global warming?
It's a very tough question, Sheikh. It's not an easy question because when you convert barren land to a forest, its albedo goes down. It absorbs more radiation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when you compare, let's say you convert agricultural land to a forest. Forest is dark. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Agricultural light, so it absorbs more. But because it is a forest, it has lots of leaves. It evaporates more. Okay. Evaporation is much more. So it will cool the land. So it's a complex thing. Radiatively, it absorbs more. But because it is a forest and it has more leaf area, that leaf will evaporate more, provided there is water. So be careful. If the water is not there, forest will not be able to evaporate much. You're assuming that water is there. The water is there, it will evaporate much more, bring the temperature down. So afforestation brings the temperature down, not because of radiation, but because of evaporation. If there is sufficient water available. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. That was like exactly my confusion. Yes, sir. Like
Yeah, so
they
there's two aspects. One is radiative, one is evaporation. Both play a role. And in the case of forest, evaporation is very critical.
And sir, like as we say that like if we afforest more and more trees, like carbon dioxide may go down. Like
But very slowly. See, you must remember, if you look at the seasonal cycle carbon dioxide, which measurements are available, it's of the order of 10 ppm. Okay. So
Yeah.
afforestation will reduce CO2 only by about 5 or 10 ppm. But we have to reduce it from 420, 430 now to, you should bring it back to at least 300. That's not easy. Okay. The normal
Yes, sir.
forest does things very slowly. People are now thinking of some very radical ways of increasing photosynthesis by artificial means. The natural photosynthesis is a slow process. Remember, on Earth, everything is slow. Earth is very old. Remember, it's more than 4 billion years old. All the process on the Earth take place very slowly and steadily. We human beings have introduced things which are changing rapidly. So if you want to remove CO2 rapidly, you have to do something very unusual. People are trying, come up with new kinds of vegetation which can absorb CO2 much faster. But the normal forest, the rate of CO2 removal is very slow. Let me
Yes,
just
sir.
give you one example all of you understand. See, the fossil fuel we are consuming today in the last 100 years took 100 million years to form. Over 100 million years, forests, animals, birds, which ultimately died and got compressed, they are the ones which give you oil, coal, and gas. Okay? So what took 100 million years, we are consuming in 100 years, which is ridiculous. Okay? What we are doing is absolutely insane thing we are doing. Because of our greed, we are consuming fossil fuels at a rate million times faster than it was actually made. So
Yes.
this is a problem you must all understand, that our way of working is absolutely not in equilibrium with the way nature works.
Yes.
Nature works very well, but slowly. We are in great hurry. We want to do everything quickly. And that's why we have problem today. So is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's clear.
But since we have got into this problem now, we have to come up with some artificial way to remove CO2. There are people doing work. It is expensive. So they are trying to find ways that are inexpensive. Okay. Because the expectation is as the things get worse in the next 20, 30 years, governments may pay companies to remove CO2. Okay. So they'll make money. So rich billionaires are trying to find new ways to remove CO2 because they expect that the government will start paying people to remove CO2. That's the expectation. Okay. So the point is that right now situation is not that bad, but another 30, 40, 50 years, situation gets very bad, then there may be all kinds of drastic solutions we may think about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you mentioned in one of the slides that like if we change the 1% of the Earth's albedo, Like
Yeah.
it will have the equal impact of doubling the carbon
Yeah,
dioxide.
that is true, but it is not easily change albedo 1%. Very tough.
Yes, sir.
It's a good question. You try to answer. Ask
Yes, sir.
yourself how much
Mhm.
extra ice you must put on the Earth's surface to increase albedo 1%. That's a good question. Ask. Please find the answer and send it to me. Tell me how much ice area you must have on Earth to increase the Earth's albedo by 1%. Calculate that. It's a large area, not a small area.
Yes, sir. It would be a large area.
Yeah, but I can tell you, your point is very interesting. You think about it, because there are lots of interesting, this one, to increase the albedo of clouds. Okay,
Yes, sir.
try to, because cloud covers about 60% of the Earth's surface. You can somehow increase the albedo of that cloud, 1% change is possible. Okay, people are looking into it. Okay, there's a whole, if you're interested, Tej will send you marine cloud albedo change. People are talking about how to do it. It slightly reduce the droplet size, its albedo will go up. Okay, so these are very important ideas being discussed, which may be implemented one day if situation becomes very bad. Okay, so these are new ideas which are being discussed, and Tej's PhD thesis is related to that. So if you have any question, you send it to him, and he will give you the papers which discuss how to increase the marine cloud albedo.
Yes, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But like my final point was that like if we are going for this large afforestation drives, like if in this like in the like common language, if someone says, "Hey, why this is there is so global warming?" Like most of the people answer it like it's because of the
Shaikh,
deforestation.
remember that we have consumed most of the land for agriculture. We cannot replace the forest. You and I have to eat. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
the land which is now used for agriculture cannot be reduced. Actually, has
Yes, sir.
increased. Our population is going up. So there's no way, there's no place available to put forest. That's why all the solutions are towards the ocean. We are
Yes,
not
sir.
yet occupied the ocean, fortunately. So the ocean albedo change is very, very practical option, open, not land. Land mostly is occupied by human beings, mostly with houses and agriculture. We have no land left. Okay. So, but ocean is unoccupied. So that's why marine cloud albedo increase as a possible solution.
Okay, just adding on to the
So,
point
Tejas, since
that,
this question was asked, you can share one paper on marine cloud albedo increase with everyone so that they can look at it. Okay, it's a good question
Sure.
and they should know about it.
Regarding this afforestation, there have been studies made. Even if we convert all of the land that is available right now, I mean, all of the continental land into forests, it would take about 300 to 400 years to capture back the CO2 that is already there in the atmosphere, because
Yeah,
there is CO2 pileup that has already happened. Afforestation, though it would help us combat the effects of climate change locally, it cannot completely reduce the effect of pumping CO2 in the atmosphere on the time scales that we are looking at. So it might come out as counterintuitive, but for CO2, the entire CO2 that is emitted post pre-industrial times, fixing them all back into the land storage system, that is building up carbon stocks, take a longer time than if we convert the land that is there in forests. So there are studies, model studies have been executed over that. And as Sir rightly mentioned, there's something called as carbon credit schemes. I'll also share a few links regarding that. When it comes to carbon credits, which show that they are investing money to cut down their net emissions by adopting few mangrove forests or few places, few technologies wherein carbon sequestration activities supported. So the scheme is already in place, carbon schemes.
Yeah, there's one important question somebody has asked. Since this is the last discussion, if anybody has any question, what is their way to interact with us?
Again, the group discussion, the discussion forum is always open.
Till the final exam?
It will open to the final exam. Again, we see what we observed after the first live session. The number of questions that come up there on the discussion forum have reduced. The frequency and the number, they both have reduced.
Teja, I'll give you my experience of the last 50 years. Just before the exam, there'll be many questions. So maybe we should have give a chance to them as they're preparing for final exam. If they have some doubts, is there any way to arrange a discussion forum just before the exam date, whatever date that is?
I mean, if that is needed, they can let us know on discussion forum. We can speak to NPTEL team and have another live session.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, if there's a request, then we'll see just before the exam. Suddenly you get some doubts. We'll be happy to help.
The discussion forum is open all the time.
Okay.
You can approach us anytime if you want. We will respond within days.
Okay.
We will not take more days.
So you can make a promise that till the date of the exam, it's open, then it's okay. If the exam is
Yes, sir.
tomorrow, till today, I should be able to ask question. Okay?
No, it will be there. Sure. Yeah.
So I know that because I've been involved in this for 50 years, I can tell you, when you are in IT, there are many students who didn't study at all. Just few minutes before the exam, they'll come running, ask me the clarification. So that nature is there in India. So we will take care of that. Anyone has last minute question, we will be happy to answer. A day before the exam. Not 1 minute before, but a day before. Okay? So that nature is there, people are busy, so they're not prepared, then they start preparing, then they get lots of doubts. Then there should be some way to clarify to them. Yeah, anybody else has questions?
Any other queries regarding any of the other assignment questions? If there are any confusions, please let us know.
Somebody say videos are difficult to download. What's the reason?
What's up?
Videos are difficult to download. They want some suggestion how to download easily. I don't know what suggestion I can give. If your internet connection is not good, then we cannot do much about that, right?
No, I don't know. This is on YouTube, right? This is the media player is YouTube for all the session.
It will available in YouTube.
Yeah, are you referring to downloading the videos offline on YouTube or downloading on system?
On YouTube you can watch.
What was basically, I'm just asking about basically what was shared on the this thing, in the along with the lecture notes, you share videos also. So lecture notes I have been able to download easily. Video notes, video only I have not been able to download. So that is where, so I can go and try it on YouTube directly is what you're saying.
No. There is an option, you have to check properly. There is an option for download the videos.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is
so-
what I have been selecting.
There is a
But
lecture.
then-
Wait, I will complete.
Yeah,
I'll complete.
sure.
There is an option to download from another server. So you can download all the videos from the faculty. So whatever we recorded, you can download from that link.
But Tejas, then the videos have a larger megabytes.
Large size, yes.
Maybe it's difficult to download.
I mean, yeah, network is also important. It's a larger size videos. I think 25 minutes video would be around roughly 150 or 200 MB.
Yeah, somebody has asked, climate change science is mainly geography and physics. Yes, it's applied physics, that's all. And of course, some chemistry also comes in now. So it is the applications of laws of physics. and chemistry, and of course, biology also comes in. So it is nothing very new. It is application of what is already known for the last 100 years. But it's complex because it involves interaction between chemistry, physics, and biology. All the three are involved. But there is no new science. It's an application of well-known laws of physics. Okay. You say, can you have a G-meet after exam? What does that mean? A Google Meet.
I think, yeah. If
So suppose, I think what I can see is during the exam, he couldn't answer a question. He wants, don't know what the right answer is.
Okay,
One
we
kind of a
can,
discussion, I suppose, right?
I think the mail ID discussion will still be up for the exams too. If it is required, we can arrange a Google Meet. That's possible.
But only thing I'm worried about, because if you want to discuss the final exam, then the questions are essentially coming out. So that they may not agree. I don't know. We'll have to find out what the issues are.
I think this is after the exams, right? After all the exams are done.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So if after the exam, we discuss every question in a forum, then we'll have difficulty giving another exam next year. Because this is a fairly simple course. There are only so many questions one can ask. Okay. So, so I can tell you because many of you have gone through a system of so many multiple choice exams. All of you feel that if I know the questions in advance, I can do better. Okay? I don't like that view. That view is okay to get into some, but the point is that you should be learning this course for understanding the problem, not to pass an exam. Okay? That should not be the goal.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this is not for the exam preparation. I'm already employed, and in fact, I'm going to retire after 4 or 5 years. My question
Yeah.
is for advancement of the science and for knowledge sharing.
Ah.
I think I have asked in initial also regarding model formation, and I would like to add some parameters in modeling.
Okay. So what do you want to do?
Sir, if somebody is preparing model, suppose I cannot spare time totally for the modeling, but I can give some input. If it is feasible, then they can include, and other things are also. So it can be helpful to the future development in the science. That's it.
I didn't understand. What are you suggesting?
He's suggesting that he
Hello.
would like to understand
Yeah.
more about climate
I
modeling.
didn't follow your
Sir.
suggestion.
Parameters used
So
in
my
climate
suggestion
modeling.
is, suppose somebody is preparing model, so I can give some input. If it is possible to include or can modify it, that may be helpful for better further model.
Yeah, but that depends on what specifics
And-
you are
and-
making.
And further, and for personal science knowledge also. To gain the science knowledge, I'm not doing nothing doing for the exams.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can send an email to Tejas or me.
Okay,
and
sir.
Your
Okay.
suggestion, then we'll see who is the modeler who may
Yeah.
benefit by it. We'll have a discussion. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'll also share the mail IDs of Sir and me and Nitya on the forum, so that you may reach out to us in case if you require any further clarifications. I'll do it by 5 p.m. today. I'll share also the assignment 1 and assignment 2 model answers. Any other materials that's required?
Yeah, somebody has asked after the course how to contact anyone. You can provide my email. I have no problem. My email account. Anybody can send me an email. I answer any email I get from anyone if they ask question on climate change. So you can put up my email, the Gmail account, and they can send me a question and I will answer it. Okay, that option always open. Because people have specific questions, may not be relevant to the course, may be outside the course. So they are welcome to send it and I will answer it. Okay. So in your discussion forum, you can put up the my email address. I don't want to trouble you, but you're doing a PhD, you better finish your PhD first. So I am available. They can send me an email and I'm will be happy to answer. Okay.
Yes.
So you can mention that in that discussion forum.
Any other specific requirements by anyone?
Yeah, somebody asked, is the course useful in the prediction? Yes, if you're getting into either research or user AI in climate and weather prediction, this course will be the basic course. You need many more courses to really get into research. This is a very, very elementary course, just a building block. And for example, Tejas came to IISc, he took many more courses, which has to cover all aspects of climate. So this is just the beginning. You need many more courses before you can do research or get into AI, okay? Okay, so I think there are no more questions. We will close the discussion here. So there's a remember that anybody has any further questions, they can come to discussion forum. And after the course is over, you can give them my email and they can contact me anytime. Okay?
Sure.
Is that clear?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, thank you.